however the most universal, the most tremendous, and the most mysterious of cosmic forces, they comprise the primal universe, psychic energy. Caring is the essence of nursing and the most central and unifying focus for nursing practice. Jean Watson.
So my name's Dave.
I'm Emily.
I'm Nicole.
I'm Riley.
And I'm Stephanie.
And
we're
we're
Jean's
Jean's
Care
Care
Bears.
Bears. So at this time, we would have incorporated our exercise and explained what caring meant to that, but it is in a paragraph at the end of this slideshow.
Okay, so I'll begin with her theory. The theory of Watson's human caring focuses on human and nursing paradigm. It asserts that a human being cannot be healed as an object. It argues, on the contrary, that he or she is part of his or herself, environment, nature, and the larger universe. In this theory, the environment is defined as comfortable, beautiful, and peaceful, and that caring is the moral ideal that entails mind, body, and soul, engagement with one another. Nursing is categorized as a humanitarian science and characterized as a profession that performs personal, scientific, ethical, and aesthetic practice. Watson's theory of human caring aims to ensure a balance and harmony between health and illness experiences of a person.
So for the classification of Jean's theory, the theory of caring is classified as a grand theory. A grand theory contains multiple characteristics which aid in outlining key concepts and principles that are involved in the nursing profession. Watson's theory is identified under the subcategory known as interactive nursing theories. Interactive nursing fits into Watson's theory of caring, as caring is needs-based. Watson thinks that human beings are believed to be holistic and that humans interact reciprocally with their environments. Therefore, the theory of caring encompasses the needs of patients that are being completed with compassion and in a caring manner. The way you treat a patient is the way you would want to be treated.
So Jean Watson, she was born on June 10th, 1940. She's 75 years old. And when she was born, her name was Margaret Jean Harmon, and she married Douglas Watson in 1961. She had 2 daughters in 1963 and 1967, and she published about 20 books. When she was younger, she went to Lewis Scale School of Nursing in 1961. She then got her bachelor's degree in nursing in 1964. She got a Master of Science degree in psychiatric mental health nursing in 1966. She has a PhD in educational psychology and counseling in 1973. She has 10 honorary doctoral degrees and 8 international honorary doctoral degrees.
So, as mentioned, she has a lot of education. The Center for Human Caring and the International Caritas Consortium. Basically, this center, the goal was to educate other nurses to incorporate caring and compassion within their nursing care. As for teaching, Jean Watson, she was a professor at the University of Colorado, and she also served as the dean at the University of Colorado in the Health Sciences Center. Books and articles, she's written over 14 books about her caring theories. She has hundreds of articles, and her caring theory book was founded and published in 1979. Her Watson Caring Institute, she's the founder, and she founded it in 2008. And this institute is a nonprofit organization that works with nurses and caregivers. She's hoping that by creating this agency, the awareness and the importance of care and compassion in the nursing profession will continue to spread the word around the world.
So some influences on her theory. She had a lot of personal experiences and losses in her life that contributed to the theory. She contributes her work and her theory to 2 major life changes occurring in a very short time period. But these had really great influence and a more broad and advanced theory of caring science and nursing. So one of the major things that she describes is that in 1997, she lost her eye in an accident. So she described that she had feelings of losing her eye literally, metaphorically, and symbolically. Another major loss is when her husband of 37 years committed suicide in 1998. She described these experiences as, "I was given the painful but loving, growing blessings of spiritual, mystical experiences that I have experienced and learned my oneness with all." So her moment, she describes her moment as kind of the basis for her theory and all of her work. So I had to learn to be still, to surrender all, to let go, to learn to receive, to be open to unknown mystery and miracles. I was given the painful but loving, growing blessings of spiritual and mystical experiences. I experienced and learned my oneness with all, and that everyone is the energy of love. So this is more about the influences on our theory development, so specifically explaining love in the nurse. So she learned that there is love. We're all energy of love. So she had a lot of experiences when she experienced her accident, and nurses that cared for her and showed her love during her treatment. So all of her theory, professional background, passion, practice of nursing, and interpersonal experiences led her to develop her theory. She believes that all healthcare professionals should have their own caring and healing journey, and they should use that to relate to their nursing practice and how they care for clients. Caring is essential to nursing practice and life itself. Spirituality and the nurse's own healing experience contribute to their care of clients.
So Jean took the corrective factors and made her own. So I'm just going to read what they were and then what she changed them into. So the first one was the formation of humanistic, altruistic system of values, and that becomes practice of loving kindness and equanimity within context of caring conscientiousness. Installation of faith, hope becomes being authentically present and enabling and sustaining the deep belief system and subjective life world of self and one being cared for. Cultivation of sensitivity to oneself and to others becomes cultivation of one's own spiritual practices and transpersonal self going beyond ego self. Developmental of helping trusting, human caring relationship becomes developing and sustaining a helping trusting, authentic, caring relationship. Promotion and acceptance of the expression of positive and negative feelings becomes being present to and supportive of the expression of positive and negative feelings as a connection of deeper spirit of self and the one being cared for. Systematic use of a creative problem-solving caring process becomes creative use of self and all ways of knowing as part of the caring process to engage in artistry of caring healing practices. Promotion of transpersonal teaching learning becomes engaging in genuine teaching learning experiences that attends to unity of being and meaning attempting to stay within one's frame of reference. Provisions of a supportive, protective, and or corrective mental, physical, societal, and spiritual environment becomes creating healing environment at all levels, physical as well as non-physical, subtle environment of energy and conscientiousness, whereby wholeness, beauty, comfort, dignity, and peace are potentiated. Assistance with gratification of human needs becomes assisting with basic needs with an intentional caring conscientious, administering human care essentials, which potentiate alignment of body, mind, spirit, wholeness, and unity of being in all aspects of care, tending to both embodied spirits and evolving spiritual emergence. And the last one, allowance of existential, phenomenological, spiritual forces becomes opening and attending to spiritual mysteries and existential dimensions of one's own life, death, soul care for self, and the one being cared for.
Okay, so Watson and the meta paradigms. So this is her description of what she thinks the four meta paradigms are and what they mean to her and her theory. So Watson's theory of caring is focused upon the creation of a trusting relationship between a nurse and a patient. According to Watson and her theory, caring goes far beyond just physical aspects, but transcends into the spiritual realm, where the nurse and the patient form a transpersonal caring relationship, which in turn both patient and nurse may promote healing. With the creation of Watson's 10-step process that Nicole just outlined, the representation of the four meta paradigms, which are person, environment, health, and nursing, were integrated within. So when she made the 10-step process, it was her basis on understanding to imply those 10 processes into what she believes in nursing with the four meta paradigms.
So the first part of the meta paradigm we're going to cover is person, which is pretty important in such a client-centered theory. So she believed that the person was sort of a holistic being with both spiritual and physical aspects, comprised of mind, body, and soul. So to her, optimal health occurs when all three of those parts, mind, body, and soul, all exist in harmony. So this is part of the nurse's job when caring for patients, is to sort of help the patient to have all those three things exist in harmony. So like I said, Watson's theory is client-based, so she stresses the importance of the client's subjective experience of health and disease. And nurses should empower their patients to be in control and perform as much self-care as they possibly can. So, for the environment part of the meta paradigm, the environment refers not only to the physical space, but also the non-physical sort of energy field surrounding the client. So Watson says that it's really important that this energy field should be positive, and the nurse's role is to maintain and build the environment in sort of a way that is healing for the client. And that healing, again, should occur in all three of them: body, mind, and spirit. So how does the client perceive the environment? Negative, positive healing, that's important for the nurse to try to determine so that he or she can sort of make her care really specific to the client.
So within health with the four meta paradigms, going along with what Dave said about person and environment, health is encompassed when those two are already established. She thinks that subjective experience defined by a patient, so what she sees a patient doing controls how she's going to act to that patient. This symbolizes the unity and harmony between mind, body, and spirit, also associated in congruence with perceived and experienced self. So what she's experienced and what she has been through is something that she can put into how she cares for her patients, because what they're going through might be something she's already experienced, or she has to learn to experience them with the patient. Health differs among each individual. Therefore, with Jean's theory of caring, you have to interpret every case differently, yet give the same care as you give somebody else to that person in front of you. And that goes to what makes a good nurse. Making a good nurse means that you should be able to work with anybody, whether their case is good or bad, or you're helping them. What you're trying to do is to promote healing. So anything you can do to make their experience better, incorporating their environment, the person that they are, health, as well as nursing, is what makes a good nurse. And then nursing is the final of the meta paradigm. She defined it as the art and science and theory, caring is being the essence of nursing. So nursing is essentially what she's trying to say, is that if you don't care, how can you help somebody that needs to be cared for when you should be cared the same? Nurses' roles is to help a patient find the meaning to illness and suffering. So understanding what they're going through, why they're experiencing it, and to help them through it, and to teach that, yes, they might be in a very unfortunate situation, but they need to gain something from what they're going through because it's an experience. Jean thinks that providing caring, professional, and thoughtful interactions with the patient restores and promotes holistic health. So making sure that you're maintaining professionalism, as well as understanding what they're going through, making sure that every action you do as a nurse is to promote them and their self and well-being to be able to get better. It's also a mix of combination between medical and holistic care. As much as medicine might help you, if you don't know what you're giving and understanding, then it's not going to help that patient. Jean also thinks that caring is central to nursing practice.
Okay, so we've put together a case study here just to sort of illustrate how Jean Watson's theory of caring can be put into practice. So hopefully this sort of brings everything that we've been talking about together. So the situation that we have is that there's a 34-year-old man. He's married, he has 2 kids. He was diagnosed 18 months ago with bowel cancer. So upon finding that out, he had a bowel resection and was declared cancer-free after that operation. But 4 months ago, it was discovered that the cancer had spread through multiple organs in his body. The oncology team recommended a course of chemotherapy for 3 months to maybe prolong his life. However, the chances that the chemo will cure the client are very low. So as a result of the chemo, the client has lost around 40 pounds. He's suffering from a lot of the side effects from the chemo, and he's just kind of not having a very good time with it.
So we can use this case study and apply it to Jean Watson's caring theory. So her reflection on this case study would be that the nurse needs to enter into the life space of the patient and detects his condition at a spiritual level. So she's going into the life space, which would be how the client's feeling, what his attitude is towards the problem, and also including his family and his children. She connects with the patient on a deep spiritual level, focusing on care of the whole patient rather than the disease pathology. So Jean thinks it's really important to look past, like the bowel resection and the fact that he has cancer, and looking at what it means spiritually to the client.
So the goals of care for this situation, for the nurse's priority is going to be to really begin to understand the client and sort of get to know what his perception of his condition is, and also where he wants to sort of end up after his situation. So that would be his personal goals of care. So in this case, obviously he doesn't want to die. He wants to maintain his quality of life, and he wants to enhance the length of his life because he has his family to think about. So things that the nurse would want to do would be to develop a helping trust relationship with the client, because that's when a nurse can really sort of start to affect positive change and create a positive environment for the client. The nurse should be willing to support whatever decision the client makes, whether that be continuing his treatment or deciding to stop it. Physical healing is always going to be an important goal for a client like this, but Watson sort of believes that without spiritual healing, optimal care cannot really occur, so she's sort of taking a holistic view of the client. And finally, like I said, it's really important for the nurse to create a supportive environment both physically and spiritually, so that the client can sort of begin to understand his condition and start to heal from it.
So at this time, we'd want to engage the class with some reflection. So we would ask them, how would you provide care to this client? So we would want the class to reflect on maybe their own personal experiences with family, maybe personal experiences with clients, how they watched other nurses maybe care. Is that like if it was in a positive or a negative way? So we'd want them to think about and relate this case study to experiences they've already had, or how they would incorporate that in their future nursing practice.
Just some final words. Caring is the essence of nursing, from Jean Watson.
And that is our presentation.